What if Adventure Time got turned into a Pokemon region? I made over 60 brand new Pokemon inspired by the different elemental beings, cosmic gods, and wacky residents that can be found across the land of Ooh. I'm super excited to show it to you, so without further ado, grab a friend and let's get into it. So if you've seen the Elements mini-series, then you know that the world of Adventure Time is shaped around 4 main elements, being fire, ice, candy, and slime. So of course the starter Pokemon of this region would be based on those elements as well, with the first stage of the Ice-type starter being Guntut, a small Ice-type Pokemon based off Gunther, Ice King's pet penguin, who's also low-key the compressed version of the world-eating god Orgalorg, but we'll get into that later. Because Guntut evolves into Psymage, a Pokemon that resembles Simon when he was only partly transformed into the Ice King. But his final stage Madwing is an Ice-flying type based on the Ice Thing, the weird flying beard creature that Gunther turns into when he puts on the Ice King's crown. Representing the fire element starter is Pisces, a pure fire type snake Pokemon based on Flame Princess in her regular form. Its evolution Amorcin is a fire dart type based on Flame Princess when she's wearing her battle armor. And the final stage Usurpant is based on Flame Princess after she usurps her father, with the large face plumage on its body resembling the face she makes when she's enraged. The first stage of the slime elemental starter is Gelatub, a pure poison type slug Pokemon based on Slime Princess. Its evolution Slimalate is constantly searching for Gelatubs to absorb into its body and help grow its size and power, just like how Slime Princess was absorbing people into her body in the Elemental series. And its final stage, Anaya Slime, is a monstrous poison steel type with a spiked shell based on Cone Snake. And the Candy Elemental starter begins with Pooble, a pure fairy type cotton candy poodle Pokemon. And its evolution, Canine, is known to be constantly overtly happy, just like the creepily joyous residents of the Candy Kingdom. And its final stage, Sweet Cess, is fairy psychic type, and based on the surprisingly devious queen of sweets herself, Princess Bubblegum. Okay, so that covers the 4 main elements, but what if I told you there's a secret 5th elemental starter? Towards the end of the Elemental mini-series, we see Lumpy Space Princess use her attitude and refusal to conform at a cellular level to restore the land of Ooh to normal. So I turned her into Lumpuff, a pure cosmic type starter Pokemon. That's right, this region also features a fan-made type, and Lumpuff evolves into Dustine, which has a secretly closed third eye on its head, which roars open in its final stage Lumparish, a huge celestial beast who seeks to spread angst and attitude across the multiverse. Okay, 5 starter Pokemon is pretty insane, but you still haven't seen anything yet, because now we're gonna go through the story of Adventure Time and make a ton of designs for the most iconic characters that can be found across its convoluted timeline, starting with some Pokemon based on Finn and Jake and ending with reality warping legendary Pokemon. But now let's stop globbing around and look at Morphmutt, a pure normal type Pokemon based on Jake the dog. And just like Jake, this Pokemon is known for its ability to stretch out its paws to really long lengths before smacking opponents from afar. And you no doubt notice the blue spots on its body, which as we can see with its evolution Warmutt, that's because it's based on the blue shape-shifting alien Warren Ampersand, who if you didn't know is actually Jake's parent, because Warren bit Jake's dad and planted an egg in him which later hatched into Jake. And this was all with the goal of one day inviting the oblivious Jake back to his home planet so he could siphon his life force and keep his immortality going. It's Adventure Time. And next up is Hewfin, a pure fighting type bear Pokemon based on the main character himself, Finn. What's really interesting about this Pokemon is how it evolves, because it essentially has the same mechanic as Nincada, as when Hewfin reaches level 22 with high friendship, it'll evolve into Finoble, which wields a self-made wood and hardened tree sap blade with a similar appearance to Finn's root sword. But that's not all, as if Hewfin evolves while you have 2 open party slots, it will also evolve into Furnoble, a grass fighting type Pokemon based on Finn's leafy doppelganger Fern. And while it doesn't have the ability Wonder Guard, it does have dual-wielded hidden grass blades, so I think it's okay. Adventure Timey and Rotom is based on Beemo, and instead of having different forms, it actually has a new regional evolution named Rotam, which is based on Beemo's evil twin brother Amo. And its final evolution, Rotal, is an incredibly bulky Pokemon based on Almo, the crushed together amalgamation of Semo through Zemo. Truncannon is a normal psychic type elephant Pokemon based on the promiscuous Tree Trunk, and it's got an insane evolution because it evolves into Tandatrunk, a huge flying telekinetic warrior based on the psychic tandem War Elephant. Adventure Timey and Honedge is based on Finn's Hero Sword, the first sword he uses in the series. Adventure Timey Duo Blade is actually Steel Grass type, as it's a combination of his root sword and his cursed grass blade. But its third evolution is no longer Aegis Slash, as it instead evolves into Plasmagus, a Steel Dark type that wields Finn's Demon Blood sword, which Finn's dad made by tricking a demon into drinking his blood after drinking holy water, as well as the Finn sword, which Finn made by slaying a different version of himself that was stuck in a time loop. It's adventure time. Jiggler is a small poison-type spider Pokemon based on the Jiggler, and it uses the unassuming false face on its back to confuse foes before shooting poisonous liquids at them from its actual face. And its evolution to Rakjit now constantly pours with an extremely toxic liquid, which it launches at any creature that enters its domain. Adventure Timey and Milotic is now Fairy Flying type, as it's based on Lady Rainicore, giving this Pokemon an appearance that's somehow even more dazzling than the original. Punishment is a demonic pure dark type Peppermint Goat Pokemon based on Peppermint Butler, and it has an evolution that looks like the true satanic evil that hides within its minty exterior. Rattata is a very odd-looking pure water type based on Ricardo, and it has a protective jelly-like cover around its body, which is similar in structure to Relunculus. And its evolution, Rickrade, has now solidified the jelly around its arms and legs, allowing itself to hit much harder, while also creating a false head above its body to influence foes to strike that area instead of its vulnerable chest. Adventure Timey and Poliwag is now Water Fairy type and has a little wizard hat. Adventure Timey and Poliwhirl now sports a familiar green color and a star on its chest. And its new regional evolution, Polifo, is based on the tadpole wizard Buffo. And just like Buffo, it's actually not the main frog creature that's in control of the Pokemon, but instead it's actually the collection of Adventure Timey and Poliwag that live in its throat, which are responsible for all of its movement. Marscreech is a dark flying type bat Pokemon based on Marceline the Vampire Queen, which sports a signature ability called Great Betrayal, an ability that increases all the user's stats by 2 stages if the opponent ever eats its fries. And Marscreech evolves into Axe, which now has twin Axe Blade wings, inspired by Marceline's signature Axe Blade bass guitar. And it also has a more demonic face that resembles her father, Hudson Abadir. Mishoots is a Grass Fairy type Scarecrow Pokemon, which is known to pull pranks on people and Pokemon alike, as it seems to only exist to ruin the day of others, making it just like Adventure Time's Magic Man, for which it's based. Billaro is a small bearded Pokemon based on the greatest hero of all time, Billy. However, this appearance is actually only one of its 2 forms. As while the male versions sport a long beard and short hair, the female versions sport long hair and a short blue beard. And they even have completely different evolutions, as male Billaro evolve into Billitrade, a fighting ghost type based on Billy after he gets taken over by the Lich. However, female Billaro evolve into Canaro, a fighting water type based on Billy's later revealed ex-girlfriend, Canyon. Adventure Timey and Ducklet is a pure water type and has a much more zany appearance, as it's based on Choosgoose. And its evolution, Goomais, is actually a dark water type, because it's based on Choosgoose after it's revealed that he passed away and went to the 37th Dead World, where only the most evil souls of all time end up. I always knew there was something about that face. And speaking of Dead Worlds, Foxpire is a ghost ground type based on Mr. Fox, after he became Death later in the show. And its evolution, Pawrish, is based on the original Death that we meet when Jake and Finn first go to the Dead World. And its final stage, Sir Parish, is based on Death and Life's energy drink addicted son, who usurps Death before becoming a major villain. Adventure Timey and Magikarp is based on the Humans, who were originally thought by Finn to be regular people, but were later revealed to be fish people. However, its evolution, Susie, is based on Susan, the muscular cat hat wearing human that served as Finn's first evidence that he wasn't the only human being left alive. Lingrub is a poison type snake Pokemon with a yellow lemon shaped head, because of course its evolution on a serpent is based on the Earl of Lemongrab, and this Pokemon uses its long nose-like appendage to launch lemon juice into its opponent's eyes before attacking them as they struggle against its sour surprise. Gardaniel is a Grass Fairy type Pokemon based on Abracadaniel, the goofy wizard that we meet in my favorite episode of Adventure Time, which is Wizard Battle. Rabix is a Grass Dark type rabbit Pokemon with a built-in hood, and with its evolution Wiztress, we see that it's based on a Jackalope as well as Huntress Wizard, a really cool character that's also introduced in Wizard Battle before becoming a love interest for Finn later in the show. And its final stage, Huntalope, now sports a huge bow and arrow that fires bolts of pure magical energy. Adventure Timey and Litleo is a normal psychic type, and now sports an odd white and pink color palette, as it no longer has a simple difference in hair when it evolves based on its gender, but instead evolves into 2 entirely separate Pokemon, with female Litleo evolving into Goloroar, a 3-eyed pure psychic type based on on Goliad, Princess Bubblegum's extremely intelligent failed creation, and male Litleo evolving into Storior, a psychic flying type, which is based on Stormo, the second iteration of Goliad, which added Finn's heroic DNA. Adventure Timey and Mr. Mime is a pure dark type and based on Abraham Lincoln. And if you've never seen Adventure Time, you're probably super confused right now. But yes, the 16th president is canonical in Adventure Time. In fact, he's actually the ruler of Mars. Globted is a rock cosmic type based on Grob Gob Globgrod when their body was destroyed and the four heads were just floating around Earth. But its evolution, Grobopolis, now resembles Grob itself with its crystalline armor, and it even wields a built-in Sword of Mars. Rattyke is a steel fighting type gumball machine Pokemon based on Rattleball. Its evolution, Gardevoir, is based on the humongous Gumball Guardians, which protect the Candy Kingdom, and it even wields a Honedge as a sword. And its final stage, Reworld, is based on the Prize Ball Guardian. Similar to the Prize Ball Guardian, this Pokemon is known to store its pre-evolutions in the small capsules that are inside its body, which it then deploys in battle to surprise and outnumber foes. And next up is Guntot. Yes, this is the same Pokemon as the Ice-type starter that we showed off at the beginning of the video. However, this special version of Guntot is extremely rare and is actually Cosmic Ice-type, as it's based on Gunther after he hits his head and the brain of Orgalord starts to burst its way out of his head. And instead of evolving normally, this version of Guntot actually evolves into Pingalord, which is based on the Breaker of Worlds itself. But these next three Pokemon are easily the most important as they're this region's legendary. The first one being Owlord, a cosmic flying type based on the Cosmic Owl. And legend says that this Pokemon will appear in the dreams of those who are destined to become the greatest trainer in the land. Prismidal is a cosmic psychic type Pokemon based on Prismo, with the true Pokemon being the unassuming statue creature in the middle, which will fall asleep in battle before dreaming a large powerful 2D shadow that can remove opponents from reality with a single strike. And Chaos is a cosmic dark type demonic skull monster based on the Lich, and serves as the villain legendary as it wants nothing more than to bring utter destruction to all life in the Adventure Time region. If you like this video, then you'll definitely like this video where we made an entire Pokemon region based on Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh, and make sure to leave a comment about what you would want to see turned into a Pokemon region next, because I would definitely love to do something like this again. And as always, huge thank you to all the artists that brought this region to life. They can all be found in the description, so make sure to go check them out. And I hope to see you all in the next video, but until then, peace.